Kyle Rudolph has 49 career touchdown catches. That is fifth among active NFL tight ends. But he caught his first one as a Giant in Kansas City last week. I have to figure that even though you've made contributions to this team, that was still kind of special.
Absolutely. It felt good to get my first touchdown as a Giant. I flirted with the end zone the last couple of weeks, getting a two-point conversion, thinking I had a touchdown last week and it getting overturned. So it feels good to be, more consistently involved in the red zone plan and getting closer to getting in the end zone, finally breaking through last week.
Everybody knows that when you came to the Giants, you were going to be a primary red zone target. Do you think that teams have concentrated on trying to take you away? I mean, how many chances have you had that maybe defenses just didn't let that pass come to you?
I think, like I said, the last couple of weeks, we've kind of been knocking on the door and, getting closer and closer with it. And, for us as a team, obviously the tight end position is one where, our roles are constantly changing. Certainly I'd love to just be, red zone pass catching, touchdown scoring tight end. But, that's not the way it works with our position. We're counted upon in protection, and I've done a lot of protecting and stuff like that over the first 8 weeks, but it certainly felt good to get my first one as a New York Giant.
You mentioned protection. You've been known for your blocking throughout your career. How much satisfaction do you get when you take a defender and maybe you put him on his back or maybe just stand him up and prevent him from getting to your quarterback?
I tell you, it's a full day's work each and every Sunday in this league, blocking a lot of the rushers. It seems like week after week, you pull up the scouting report and the depth chart, and it's just great rusher after great rusher. And these guys get paid a lot of money to get after the quarterback, especially on the edge. And it's something that we've been called upon a lot throughout the course of the season. And it is. It's not quite as satisfying as catching a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, but I've learned throughout my career to find joy in that because it's like you said, it might not seem as important, but for our team and for our offense, it's equally as important as executing and making a catch in the end zone.
Let's talk about the edge rushers you'll face this week with the Raiders, Ngakoue and Crosby. Mm-hmm. These guys get after it. In fact, they don't blitz. They blitz the least of anybody in the NFL because their front four has almost all of their sacks. How much of a challenge is that?
It's a huge challenge. I mean, these guys are playing at a high level. I was with Yannick last year for 5 or 6 weeks in Minnesota before we traded him to Baltimore, and he led our team in sacks, and he was only there for 5 or 6 weeks. It just it shows his elite pass rush ability, his athleticism, his explosiveness. And then on the other side, Max Crosby, he leads the league right now in pressures. So he's playing at a really, really high level, and those are definitely two guys that we'll have to make sure we know where they are at all times.
Because they let their defensive line do so much, they can play more coverage and more guys in the back end. How much difficulty does that cause for you guys with your pass routes?
I think the biggest thing that jumps out when you watch these guys on tape, it's that traditional Seattle cover three. They don't do a whole lot. It's probably one of the simplest defenses we'll play all year. But they play at such a high level and they have such elite team speed on defense. They're always in the right spot. They rally to the football, and it makes you hard as an offense to, just take a chunk, and not be able to get those explosive plays because they have so many guys in coverage.
You mentioned about their defense kind of getting to the ball. Perryman has over 80 tackles already halfway through the season. That's a ridiculous amount of stops. He's been playing the run very well.
Absolutely, and he's a guy, like I said, the biggest thing that jumps off when you watch this defense is their team speed. And, the linebackers certainly fit that category as they fly sideline to sideline.
All right, I need to ask you about something in your Minnesota days. Adrian Peterson was lost for almost the entire 2016 season. That was a big blow to your offense. You've been missing Saquon Barkley here a lot with the Giants, as well as a lot of other players. How do you mentally overcome the hurdle, emotionally and basically psychologically, of losing such big components of your offense?
It's, in my opinion, it's the hardest part of our game. I say it all the time. You work so hard all off season. You put in all the time throughout the off season program, OTAs, minicamp, training camp. And then when injuries happen during the season and either yourself or your teammates aren't able to be out there, in my opinion, it's the hardest thing we have to deal with. But, you know, as a veteran player, as a leader, you just try to, you know, encourage and pick everybody up on offense, because, you know, we have to elevate our level of play. You can never replace a Saquon Barkley or a Kenny Galladay or Sterling Shepard, guys of that caliber, but you certainly can try to pick your level up a little bit, and if all 11 guys that are out there pick up their play just a little bit, you know, you can go out and win games like we did last week against Carolina, where nobody really gave us a chance when they saw all the injuries we had.
You've been around for over a decade. How important is it to win going into the bye week just to help the entire atmosphere of a locker room?
It's huge. I think back to, you know, all my years in Minnesota, and exactly that. You go into the bye week, and it gives you so much momentum going forward. You got 2 weeks to think about it instead of just one. You know, for us, coming off a tough loss in Kansas City, well, 6 days later we get that taste out of our mouth and go out there and do it again. When you don't do that going into a bye, you got to think about it for 2 weeks. So definitely looking forward to going and getting a win this Sunday.
Kyle Rudolph, it's great to have you with the Giants. Thanks for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.